The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at NETsn.live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Week 5 of the NETsn Weekly Wrap-Up Show. It's Brett Swinney here, alongside Corey Marshall and Vincent Johnson. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
Man, it was an interesting week last week in the Pick'em Challenge. We'll get to that here shortly. First off, how's y'all's week going?
It's hump day. It's hump.
You know, it's going.
It's been a long time since I've seen some Chapel Hill football, so I'm chomping at the bits to see some football this Friday night. So I'm ready to get to it. First off, I'd like to thank our some of our sponsors. I'd like to thank LoneStarGridiron.com. I'd like to thank them for being our partner this year, and we've got one of their famous people here coming up to join us tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing and liking all of our pages. Check us out, NETsn Live at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, NETsn_live. Don't forget about our hats we have at their store. So netsn.live/store. Go pick up one of our hats. Maybe some new merchandise coming soon, hopefully, to add to that. Also, with our new district standings tab, go check that out. We've got all the schools that we cover. The district standings are now online, NETsn Live. /district standings. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our special guest tonight. He is also from LoneStarGridiron.com. He is one half of the dynamic duo of Sideline to Sideline, Terry Bennett. Terry, welcome.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on?
What's up?
Feel bad for a couple of the football fans here being 49ers and Texans, but I guess I'll try to work through that if I can.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Although, what's y'all's record this year, guys? I think y'all have maybe 2 wins combined. The Cowboys have 2 wins, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Who did the Cowboys play? Who they play?
I just want to remember. I want everybody to remember that the Houston Texans lost to Justin Fields.
Oh.
Man. Just throwing that out there.
You know, Cowboys got a lot of L's coming. They got a lot of L's coming in they time.
They may be, but I do appreciate the Texas love back there. In fact, I was at the Texas game this past weekend.
Oh,
okay.
Oh. Well, you're talking to 3 Longhorn fans here, Terry. So it was a rough one to. I didn't actually. Thankfully, I saw walking out of Mercado's Saturday evening. Texas Tech had stormed the field, so I knew it wasn't a good. So I didn't ever even watch the game. I don't even know what happened. I've heard, but I didn't want to watch
Texas was up 31-17, man. It looked like they had it in play, but I'm impressed. I think that Texas, you've got as a program, they've got to learn to win again, and that's one of those spots in Texas Tech. Joey McGuire's up there, former high school coach. They love him there. Ric Flair was
I love
there.
that.
Once I saw Ric Flair, I knew we were in trouble.
Oh,
But,
my.
you know, Texas has got to learn to win those games, and that's a step. It's easy to get up for the Alabamas, but you've got to be able to go on the road in the conference and win a game. When you start doing that, then you can start talking about the playoffs and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
That
Well, Terry,
the viral video of Coach McGuire saying everything runs through Lubbock.
oh,
That's going to be repeated over and over and over again. It could be bad for them if they don't win.
yeah. Well, we got.
I agree, but I like that. And
Yes,
I know Coach McGuire. He was at Cedar Hill when I was calling games, and I called a bunch of his games, and I like that. Texas, he fits Texas Tech well because he plays well in the West Texas living rooms, but he has connections to Dallas. And every Texas Tech coach that's had success, they got talent from Dallas, and
Yes.
that's their little hidden gem. Not the 5 stars, but do like TCU and get the 3 stars and develop them, and he will. And hey, I tipped the hat. They looked great. They had 3A players like Baylor Cupp, who was a former Brock tight end. He had 2 touchdowns in a huge second half. So he's doing everything right there at Texas Tech.
Yep.
All right. That's all. That's some awesome info, Terry.
Yeah.
We got Derek here tonight. What's up, Derek?
Derek Del Rio.
Derek's
That's a Mount Vernon guy right there.
He is one of our followers that's on every week. We also have another one as Eddie Hagelman. Welcome, Eddie.
What's up, Eddie?
All right. Pleasant Grove guy right there is Eddie. All right. So let's first off, Terry, for those that may be watching and may watch that don't know who you are, kind of give them some background of what you do for the LoneStarGridiron.com website. I know it's a lot, but can you can you give us a kind of an overview of what you do there?
Yeah, I do. Of course, Grant Goodwin and I do sideline to sideline. We cover 3A and 4A. This is our 15th year of doing that. For Lone Star Gridiron, I also do coaches shows and then regional shows. Right now, I'm doing about 23 shows a week. In fact, as I was telling you, I literally was sending off shows I just finished, and then as soon as we get done, I'll be right back to finishing because I try to get all my shows up by Thursday to give people time to listen. But yeah, we cover high school football and we love talking about it.
Well, Eddie says he loves sideline to sideline shows, so there's just some love.
Yeah, Eddie's one of those that is routinely comments, whether he likes us or not, I don't know, but he routinely comments on us.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So since you're the 3A, 4A is your sweet spot, as we've talked about, kind of give us some teams that we cover here that you have seen this year or you're looking forward to see or that you think is going to be someone to watch this year.
Well, you know this. We were at Gilmer, Chapel Hill. I think both of those teams, of course, are teams to look out for. I want to start with a team, though, that's in your area adjacent because of the district, and that's Anna. Anna's special this year. They've got a quarterback transfer from Allen named Ethan Bullock, who already adds to a team that was going to be really good. And he puts that maybe state championship top onto them. They beat Salina last week, 28-25. A couple weeks ago, they beat a really good Aubrey team with an 80-yard hook and lateral with like a minute left. They just have that feel. You know, I've been doing this long enough. There's certain teams you start to see and you start to go, man, they've got that about them. Anna feels like that. And I think they're in a district that's tough enough to challenge them without overly challenging them. Kaufman, I think, is really solid. You know, they beat Lindale to begin the year. Sulphur Springs, I think people need to watch out for them. They dropped down. Everything's a little smaller for them compared to where they were last year in 5A. They went 0-10 in 5A, but they were in literally every game. I think 8 of the 10 losses were all one-possession games. So they just need to learn how to win. We were talking about that with Texas. They need to learn how to win. And then Paris, who knows with Paris? Paris is one of the most confusing teams there are, but I like District 8, and I just wanted to mention Anna because of that. Everybody else in East Texas, it's the people we all know. It's the, Kilgore, Lindale, Chapel Hill. I'm curious about Jacksonville in that district for the same reason I said about Sulphur Springs. Mount Vernon, they lost their quarterback Can they be a state threat? I don't know anymore. I do think they can still win the region. Mackenzie McGill's an absolute beast, and I like what they're doing with him, but they're going to have to get a backup quarterback. They cannot run McGill 47 times a game and expect to go through a region one team in Brock or Bushland or Breckenridge, all three that are really, really good.
Well, here's one, Terry, that Derek mentions is the Mount Vernon Winsboro game next week. That's going to be probably for the district championship, I imagine.
Well, Winsboro, they're a team that it's and we've said this so many times on sideline to sideline. You can't trust them. The last 2 years, they've had the talent to make the playoffs, but they've not been able to. This year, that talent that started as a sophomore class is a senior class, and they look like they're more consistent. But when you go back and peel the paper back, they beat a Paul Pewitt team that's okay. And I know Paul Pewitt gave Mount Vernon everything they could. But since then, every Winsboro loss, it's kind of like, okay, Canton, that's okay. Fairfield. I need to see them beat Commerce this week. Commerce is a hot team in that district right now. They beat Bonham and beat them pretty bad. And I really didn't think that they would beat Bonham as bad as they did. And I'm not saying that they'll beat Winsboro, but that's the type of game that over the last 3 or 4 years, Winsboro loses. So let's see if they can go and beat Commerce. Then they can worry about Mount Vernon.
I've seen some of their scores. Some of their scores, though, I mean, they've been blowing folks out this year. They haven't really been in a close game yet.
Yeah.
To Winsboro?
I like what you said there. I like you said that the younger teams are learning how to win. That's a coachable thing, especially a program thing. When you come in, a lot of coaches come into programs. Oh, they've been successful every year. They've been successful wherever they go. Not only do you have to implement your system, but you also have to teach teams how to win. And that all starts there. And I'm glad you mentioned, especially with Texas, and you mentioned it with Winsboro too. You got those younger guys that came in, and I've alluded to it several times, especially in basketball as well. If you watch our telecast of basketball, and we do it here, I mentioned it a lot. You said yourself, you got to teach guys how to win football games and how to win games. That is an underestimated statement, but it's everywhere when you see it, when you see teams play, because you have a Winsboro team that needs to win. You got the Anna team that's came out and win. There's some good football up there, by the way. All those teams up there are really good. And that McKinney area, that 380 quarter, all those football teams are really good. And they're just.
And I do want to talk about that. Josh Finney, what he's done at Winsboro, because a few years ago, Winsboro was like 2-8, 2-8, 2-8. And so he has put that process in place. It just feels like, though, especially that 2020 year, I think all they had to do was win one of their last 2 games to get in, and they lost both and finished 7-3. So that's why I say I can see what Winsboro is doing this year. I just don't feel that they've played a quality opponent, and they probably won't till Mount Vernon. But that's why this game against Commerce, if Winsboro does what they should and beats Commerce by 4 touchdowns, then you've got my attention. If they beat Commerce, but it's like 42-40 or something, then I'm going to go right back to until they can prove it. And I think they can. Don't get me wrong. I think Winsboro can beat Mount Vernon without Braden Bennett, quarterback for Mount Vernon. And I think if they do, I think then that switch turns on, and then we start talking about now they know how to win. Let's see how far they can carry it, because that Region 1, 3A in that region is very wide open right now. There is with Mount Vernon. I thought Mount Vernon was the state favorite. I thought Mount Vernon would finally get rid of the Region 1 demon, and they would win state. I can't say that now with Bennett out. So I think that not only opens up the state, but it expressly opens up this region.
So do you feel like coaching has a lot to do with it? I mean, you said they have the talent. So do you feel like maybe the system or the offense is where they're failing at? Or, I mean, it could be defense too, but as far as
think it's
how the system is.
Winsboro didn't win, and they had to learn to win. I think that when it comes to coaching, I think at every level it's different. I think at the pro level, it's more about the X's and O's, because NFL's like NASCAR. Everybody's about the same. So you need the little bit of different things that you do different well, and the little change ups. At college, it's about emotion and the X's and O's. In high school, I'm a firm believer it's 75% how you motivate your kids. And you're going to find talent, but can you get them to be consistent? And that's the biggest word in sports, of all sports, but especially high school, is can you get 14-year-olds to 17-year-olds, some towns 19-year-olds, we won't talk about that. You get them playing every game consistently, not worried about if their girlfriend broke up, not worried about the math test.
That's a good
That's
one.
the program that wins. And I've had just messaged me on a Friday. We're going to struggle this week. Why? Todd, our quarterback, his girlfriend he found out was cheating on her with his best friend, and he's the wide receiver. And I'm like, well,
Oh no.
good luck to that boy. So it's just
put both of them on the bench.
Yeah.
Put both of them on the bench.
I think you look at the successful program, especially at 4A and 3. Now 6A is college. I don't even count that. But look at 4A and 3. All the successful programs in the state, Brock, Carthage, Kilgore, Chapel Hill at this moment, all of them, go watch their pre-games and they all look the same. And I don't mean they do the same thing, but they all, when you see them, you just go, whoa, that's a team. And that's like when we went out and saw Bushland this week. I've been wanting to get eyes on them. That's the first thing I saw. I was like, holy crap, this team's ready to win. They've got everything. I want to see that from Winsboro.
It's like you said, it's how they warm up. You can tell. Me and Brett do basketball all the time, and we've seen a lot of basketball. And I told us I could kind of tell a team by the way they warm up in practice, or how the way they do things, how well they've been coached, or how much they've been put into preparation for the game.
Yep.
You know, more focused teams are focused in warm up. You know, less focused teams are less focused in warm up. You know, they warm up is not a time to, lounge around and play. It's focus time. You actually come in with a purpose and you do your job and you get it done. So that's a big one. A lot of people that went over some people's heads,
So Derek wants to know if you're going to come back to see the Battle of Highway 37, Terry.
Next week, I'm actually taking a week off. I've got a more important game I got to see. My granddaughter's soccer season starts next Saturday, so I'm out for the weekend. I'm gonna expect 10 goals from her. I'm gonna probably cut her. Competitive family here. If you don't win, you don't stay in the Bennett household. No, I usually take week 6 off, but right now, I hate to tell you, Derek, but if Winsboro gets past Commerce, I think Winsboro beats Mount Vernon. I hate it too. I hate it for Mount Vernon because they took so much crap, and I was one of the big ones giving it to them when they hired Bryles. I didn't like it. But I thought he left a great coach in Brad Willard. And I think Brad Willard is a magic man. And it felt like this was their year. Everything felt right. It was the storybook. Got beat by Brock or Jim Ned 2 years ago in a close game. Last year, get beat by Brock in overtime when Mount Vernon probably outplayed Brock. So this was going to be the year that this senior class and then Braden Bennett gets hurt. I still think they can make a run in the region. I don't think they're going to win district, and I just don't really see them winning again. If they do win the region, I don't see them getting past a Brock, a Breckenridge, or a Bushland. They've
been building for like 5 or 6 years now. They've been really good.
Yeah, and this was the class they always pointed at. Even 2 years ago when they got played, and they actually played Jim Ned really well. But even 2 years ago, everybody was pointing to the sophomores at the time as that's that Mount Vernon team that's going to win it. And here we are. And this is why you play the game. You never know what's going to happen, and unfortunately, injuries are a part of that. Canyon, a 4A team that was a region favorite, they lost their quarterback last week. He broke his collarbone. He's probably out for the year. They go from being a region to state finalist favorite to hoping to get out of the third round. I mean, it sucks, but it's the way it is.
Well, I can tell you this from a Chapel Hill standpoint, we know about losing quarterbacks and eventually winning state championships. So it can happen. It can definitely happen. That team was just super talented, but that was a sophomore class or freshman class that kind of went through and funneled through, and they were every bit of as good as advertised, and they ended up closing, sealing the deal. So, I mean, if those guys are listening, it can happen. Just stay the course and stay focused. So,
oh yeah, and I've been told that Mount Vernon that they have a backup that's young and that's good. But he's not battle tested. I don't know how true that is, and I'm not saying they can't, but I don't think I don't think they can expect Mackenzie McGill to just be the Wildcat style quarterback, running back, and do that. And because when you can get through the region, but I'm telling you, Brock's defense, Bushland's defense, and Breckenridge's defense, all right now would give Braden Bennett and Mount Vernon a game. I'm not saying if Bennett was healthy that they would walk through the state. They were going to be in battles already. You tell Brock, oh, you just got to shut down this one guy. Oh, they're bringing the plates and forks and they're ready to eat because that's what they do. And so Mount Vernon's got to figure out what they're going to do going forward.
It's going to force them to have to the young quarterback's going to have to grow up really fast. That's going to be a tough lesson to learn. So, go ahead, Vince. No, go ahead, Vince.
No, I was just going to say, my philosophy is it's really more of a next man up. Like you gotta have that backup ready to step in that, and I know everybody doesn't have that, and they're not always prepared for it. Like when we put Brisbane in last year, it worked out for us. I know that doesn't always work out for everybody. They don't have that type of talent. I don't know. Like in my mind, like I always feel like you train the second streamer the way you train your first streamer, because I don't want my season to end because the first streamer went down. I don't want somebody looking at it like, oh, they're done. Like, no, we got a lot of football left. I got somebody I've been working on this whole time. So
well, the problem with that in high school, you just don't have time. Like you don't have 5
yeah, it's
hour
like college and pro. So yeah, you don't get them all day.
Yeah, you don't get to take, you don't get to run mornings. Let's run the ones, and then in 2 hours, let's run the twos with the ones.
Yeah, you
and
got a
also
time
when
frame.
yeah, and I think Chapel Hill, I think the better quarterback was sitting on the bench at the time already. I think we didn't realize it. I don't think, even if Mount Vernon puts a magical season and goes to state and wins it with the backup, I don't think anybody's going to say, oh, well, he's better than Braden Bennett. Braden Bennett was special. Braden Bennett was that type of guy. We were joking off the air about Jimmy G and how Braden Bennett's one of those guys that if he went to fight, that whole team's going, and they don't even, no questions. If he said, let's get the bats, we're going, they're rolling with him. He had the team and the talent. That's what made him so special.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Terry, is there anything else you want to add tonight before we let you head out of here for the evening?
I just want to point out 6-3A Division I, the Atlanta Rabbits, 4-1, a team that has won 3 games in 21 and 2020 altogether. A program that only had like 3 coaches in 30 years, and then they had 3 coaches in 422 days. Right. Tyler Morton is doing absolutely amazing there. Defensively, they are putting up stupid numbers. They gave up 28 to Bullard, Brookhill, but that's a private school. Before that, they had given up 2, 0, 8, and 16. So just watch out for Atlanta. I think they're going to be special, not only this year, but going forward. They're very young up front.
And I think they might be in our poll. So stay tuned to find out where they rank in our poll. Terry, we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. We'll hopefully get Grant on here in a few weeks. And we appreciate your partnership, and we'll talk to you soon.
Heck yeah, y'all. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. All right, take care, man.
All right, guys. We'll be right back, and we'll continue on. We'll get our Uncle Mo's Player of the Week when we get back.
Late to get to this good-looking winner. Uncle Mo, he demolished the field. He won by 15 lengths. He won by more than that.
And leads us right into Uncle Mo's Player of the Week. Guys, Uncle Mo's Player of the Week, I got to see in person, and it was impressive. West Russ senior quarterback Anton Mata, 13 of 19, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns, 12 carries, 187 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Guys, he was a one-man wrecking crew on offense for West Rusk. All 56 points were off the hand or the feet of Anton Mata. Thoughts?
Get the big piece of chicken at the end of the night.
Of course.
That's what happens.
I think Schmink Dog's going to be dreaming about Mata after that game that he put on ARP this last week.
Like
it was really impressive. Yeah.
Got to move on.
I mean,
games like this got to move on.
Oof, yeah. So big night for Mata. I'd like to congratulate him. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Jonathan Bradshaw and the the Cooper. I guess it's this Saturday, October 8th. So it's not this Saturday. Cooper Reed Memorial, not the Memorial, but the fishing tournament. Make sure you get on our Facebook page. I think I shared the link. We want to make sure we keep advertising that. The young man is recovering. I think he's doing a lot better. So keep the prayers coming. If you have a way to reach out to Jonathan and enter the fishing tournament, be awesome. Hopefully they can raise enough money to help this young man's family. And that's awesome that he's recovering. I know there's a lot of cities and towns around the area that are praying for him. So we are as well. So I'd like to take that right on into our pick'em discussion for this week. Guys, how do you feel about your pick'ems from last week? Did y'all take a look and see how you did?
Feeling moderately successful.
Moderately successful. All right. The pick'em leader for the week was James Duke. I think he heard us talking about his Nacogdoches pick over Chapel Hill last week, and he turned it into 9 out of 10 on us this week. So shout out to James for winning this week's pick'em. I will have to say though that it was I don't know. I had a fairly successful week myself. I was 8 out of 10. So not too shabby here for the pick'em champ. Derek says. Eddie says 9 out of 10. Did Eddie, you have 9 out of 10? You might have had 9 out of 10 too, Eddie. Let me check.
The only game he probably didn't get right was the Liberty Ilo.
Yeah, Eddie, you did. My fault, Eddie. You did have 9. So let's see. Derek said he's going 10 for 10 this week. Okay. We have yet to have a 10 for 10. We were close this week. Let's see. I think James had 10 going into the last one Saturday when Centerville beat Jefferson. So that was a very close one. So let's see. Eddie said he has Sulphur Springs. We'll talk about that. Game 1. Sulphur Springs beat Liberty Ilo. I know Corey wants to talk about this one, and he's been chomping a bit to talking about it all week. I'll just sit over here and hold the belt.
There was really nothing to talk about. We had that discussion about it, and the discussion was Liberty Ilo was a good team that were coming up, and I was like, they hadn't played anybody. Well, let's see how they do against Sulphur Springs. They didn't beat Sulphur Springs. It's okay. They played Atlanta. They beat Atlanta. And you heard Terry said Atlanta was coming up. They had a good team. They played well. All right, okay. Well, that was a measuring stick. You didn't beat Sulphur Springs. That was my thing. Sulphur Springs was climbing up the polls. They've been pretty good. Here we go. So,
well, game 2 was Centerville Jefferson, the one we just talked about. Game on Saturday. It was pretty much split. Centerville and Jefferson. I had Jefferson myself. Jefferson lost a close one. I don't know if it was just I didn't know enough about Centerville to know to pick them. But it was a close game. Really close. Let's see. Eddie's saying he had Jacksonville and switched to Athens. Well, you shouldn't listen to Vince, Eddie. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
he gave you some bad info, Eddie. I'm sorry about that.
See, Vince rubbed off on Eddie, and Eddie rubbed off on me. I could have thrown it.
I went to that game, man. Actually, Athens played a good game.
Game 3 was West Rusk ARP. We all had West Rusk except for long shot Vince at ARP and didn't come up before.
ARP. It didn't come up right.
ARP.
A surprisingly close one. Longview just barely got over Lancaster this week in game 4. Everyone had Longview, and
Lancaster was good. Yeah, Lancaster was good, man. They beat South Oak Cliff. Anytime you beat South
Lancaster, they might have got some love in the poll this week. We'll see. Game 5 was Kilgore Palestine, and everybody had Kilgore. Kilgore wiped the floor with Palestine. I guess Palestine wasn't what we thought they were.
I've been saying that, man. I've been
Or
saying I don't believe in Palestine like that.
or Kilgore is who we thought they are.
Now,
I don't think
I,
Palestine
well,
is
I
what we
know
thought
I
they
know
were.
what Kilgore is, but I don't think Palestine is what some people been saying. But that's just
Yeah,
me. And there ain't no hate on Palestine. I'm just being honest. I just don't think that they beat up on some teams that I think they were supposed to beat up on. Really.
Yeah.
And honestly, I
Preseason
said that about some other teams too.
preseason schedule. We talked about that. I think the next game is a pure fact there that what I've been talking and preaching on Jacksonville. When I told y'all that they challenged themselves in the preseason schedule, Athens did not, and that's why I thought Jacksonville would be victorious, and they did beat Athens this week.
But however, I did say the preseason show, I said watch out for Jacksonville. I said it.
Corey, did you pick Athens, Corey?
I know I did not pick Athens. I picked Jacksonville.
CM says Athens. You had Athens,
You
Corey.
did pick Athens.
You drank the Kool-Aid that Vince was.
No, because I told him, I said, don't pick Athens because of me.
But listen, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The preseason, I did say watch out for Jacksonville. We had this big discussion about it. I said watch out for Jacksonville. They may make some noise, drop it down from class 5A to 4. That's all I'm saying.
You did say that, but then you picked Athens. So
that's okay.
Game 7, Atlanta over Brook Hill. The only one that picked Brook Hill, which Drew, what were you thinking? Drew.
You was thinking like me. I thought Brook Hill had a chance. Brook Hill's not bad. I'm saying Brook Hill ain't
They're
bad.
not bad for a private school, Corey, but this is public school. It's different ball.
A 5A private school is about the size of a 3A high school, so public school, so it's all right.
Okay. We got this game was surprising to me. I guess I was listening too much to Corey. Lufkin just got thumped by Forney. LP.
Yeah,
Vince, tell us about Forney, Vince. You took Forney. What did you see in them? Or you must not have been drinking the LP Kool-Aid.
I just wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. That's all. I'm gonna be honest. That's all it really was.
I mean, Lufkin down at the bottom of their district now, going 0-2 in district play. Of course, they've played probably two of the tougher teams. Well, yeah. Lancaster, though, I think will also be a tough one. They haven't played them yet. So Lufkin looking at on the edge of the playoffs there. So
well, from not making the playoffs the year before, if they finish the season 500, I mean that's a win for them.
Yeah. Next game, Edgewood over Winona. Corey.
That was way off.
You had Winona.
I was going for Winona. But you know, Edgewood is that team. The Purple Bulldogs are right.
Yeah, they're showing something. And then game of the week this week, Texas High Hallsville. Texas High put it on Hallsville pretty good. Vince, you had Hallsville. What was going through your mind when
I still think that Hallsville had something to show, and they in a funk right now. They just got to get out of that funk. They got some. They still got a lot of football left to play. They had a couple of good wins, but
you know who's in a funk? White House.
I mean,
okay. Listen to me, guys. Okay, you can't. There's no way to sugarcoat that. I saw Nacogdoches on the field. They're not very good.
They're not that bad either. They're not that bad.
No, but I will say this: you knew it was coming for somebody. They wasn't finna lose out this whole season. They wasn't. And again, the longer you go without winning, every game you play, now that's a trap game.
Yeah.
That's a trap game for somebody. It was set up for them to lose that game.
Let's see.
It's a new season. It's a new season. Oh, that's an easy thing to coach in the locker room. Hey, we're 0-5. Doesn't matter. New season. You're 1-0 now. Brand new season. You're 1-0.
True.
Good talk.
Let's go through some of the chat here. We got Eddie's got Silver Springs is 4-1. Yep. I'm sure we'll see them in our poll here in just a few minutes. Eddie says Edgewood got my 5 touchdowns. Yeah, they took care of business.
They got a
He's
game coming up this week. I think so.
yeah. Texas High did not get 6, but they got 4. So that was pretty easy. Let's see. Eddie said Liberty Isle lost one of their QBs, and their other QB is hurt. Ooh, so that could hurt.
Got 4
That could-
QBs. How many QBs you have?
Yeah,
Right.
they may be pulling down from the JV.
Yeah.
See what Bradshaw's got to say. Knack went to a veer offense against White House. Okay, change the offense up.
Go with what works.
Yeah,
Go with what works. But they've always been a veer running team. So,
all right. Well, fellas, let's roll over and look at some polls this week. Let's start with our 6A, 5A poll. A little bit of shuffle this week. Had a couple surprising wins, a couple of losses at the top. We'll see what we got here. We've got number 1, still Longview, stayed steady, 5-0. Number 2, Texas High, 4-1. Number 3 this week is Lufkin Panthers, still held on the 3 spot at 3-2. Marshall moves up to the 4 spot at 3-2. White House dropped down to 5 at 4-1. Hallsville fell a spot to 6 at 3-2. Tyler Legacy at 7 at 1-4. Knack into the poll for the first time this season at the 8th spot at 1-4. Also new into the poll this week, Lancaster at 3-2, number 9, and at number 10, Tyler High at 1-4. What do y'all think about that?
Showing some love. Thought Marshall should have been a little bit higher. I think I had Marshall higher, if I'm not mistaken.
Here's Eddie's poll. Yeah, you had Marshall at F. Well, you had Marshall at 4, Corey. Here's the poll by Mr. Hagel. He's got Greenville in there. I don't know, Eddie.
I mean, they're 2 and 3, so
they are. But I saw him play Chapel Hill. I think Nacogdoches was better than Greenville by on-field play. Greenville was terrible, Corey. They couldn't move the ball.
Wait a minute.
Until we put in our third string.
But listen. You can't judge a team just because we beat them by however we beat them.
60 points.
Hold on. Maybe Chapel is just better than the other teams. Now, you level out the playing field. You got to remember, Chapel Hill was ranked number 2 or number 3 in Class 4A, all of Class 4A. Those teams weren't ranked at all. So those teams may be getting better by the week. So I can't just say those other teams are trash because they played a dominant team.
I know, but I'm just saying where he's got Greenville versus Nacogdoches.
But they may have been gotten better. Nacogdoches beat White House. White House has been pretty consistent all year. They beat a very decent White House team.
Right. So I'm saying that Nacogdoches should be better than Greenville. Is my argument.
Well, 2 and 3, I mean, they've won 2. They won one more game in Nacogdoches.
Well, who was the 2 wins against? That's what I mean. That would be my question.
Well, we can find out. We got time to see who the 2 wins are.
Yeah, because I'm saying that Nacogdoches' win is more impressive than the 2 wins that they got.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at Greenville. Let's see who they played this year. Besides Chapel Hill. Okay, they beat Liberty, Frisco Liberty, and then they beat Princeton. Okay. I mean, Princeton's not bad. Frisco Liberty. Okay.
Eddie's got a great point. And it's maybe something that we change, Eddie. This is year 1 of our poll. We may stop it at 5 because honestly, going past 5, you're just throwing teams on there with the limited amount of teams that we have. Now, in a couple of years, if we reclassify and there's more teams in 6A, 5A, then we might be expanded. But that's definitely a thought to leave that at 5. We've talked about that actually. So. See, Jonathan says Liberty is horrible. I'm assuming that's what he's meaning there. Yeah, and just the 5A, 6A, definitely. No, we're not going to change the polls and the other. We have plenty of teams to fill the 4A and then the 3A, 2A polls. I think the toughest one for me is a 3A, 2A right now.
Yeah,
Honestly,
2A is atrocious.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like our consistency here, and we'll just talk about that, and then we'll move on. Is we all had the same top two, all three of us. Corey and I had the same top four, and then we had actually the same in the top. Our poll were exactly the same. Corey and I were identical, except Corey had White House over Hallsville. I moved Hallsville over White House just because Hallsville's losses were better than that atrocious loss that White House had. But you could have gone either way with that. So our polls are identical. Vince's differed a little. He had Lancaster in, which if we consider Lancaster in, I may have to consider them as getting a vote if we're going to consider them. I mean, they are in the district with some of our teams. I didn't think that was a bad spot. I just hadn't thought about putting them in there. Which he had Lufkin all the way down at 7, which I mean that was a little far down, I thought. But
disrespectful.
I think he did that.
I just don't believe in Lufkin like that. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I don't.
So,
You don't believe in Athens? I don't believe in Lufkin.
I got
Tomato,
good,
tomato.
I got good authority. Okay, all right.
Listen, you gonna keep on. Okay. All right.
So let's move on over. Let's digress and move on over to 4A. Okay.
All right.
4A poll, pretty much the top 4 is gonna stay the same this week. We've got Carthage, Gilmer, Pleasant Grove, and Center. Actually, Pleasant Grove and Center are now tied in votes this week at 3. So you've got at 5, Sulphur Springs moves up from 8 to 5. Chapel Hill slides down a spot, being off this week to 6. Then you've got Kilgore 7, Lindale 8, Liberty Islo at 9, and Rusk and Kaufman tied at 10. Thoughts on that? It's a pretty tough poll there, guys. Some tough teams in there.
I didn't put Liberty Islo in mine or Kaufman.
Yeah, I had Kaufman at 7 in my poll. I still think their win over Lindale was impressive, and they haven't lost but the one game. I did not have Vince had Liberty Islo at 6. I did not have Liberty Islo in my poll either. I dropped them out after the loss to Sulphur Springs. But I mean, pretty much our top were the same. I think Vince had Center the highest at 3rd spot, and he had Pleasant Grove down at 5. What was your reasoning behind that one, Vince? As Corey and I had Pleasant Grove at 3.
I mean, Center is a monster right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm starting to think Center better than Gilmer. I just need to see them prove it. That's it.
I'm with Vince. Like
I'm starting to think Center might be on that Carthage level. And I want to see these 3 teams play each other, but
you're going to see Carthage is in the same district as Center, so you will see that game.
I won't get the Carthage Gilmer game, but I'll get Carthage and Center.
You might get Carthage and Gilmer at some point. You might get it.
At some point, it just I'm not gonna sit here and act like we're not seeing what Center doing right now. So Center's out there playing some good ball. That's no disrespect to Pleasant Grove.
Here we go.
Sulphur Springs. I think Sulphur Springs. They had Sulphur. I like Sulphur Springs. I'm just being honest with you. I like what they're doing.
We got here's Eddie's top 10 here, guys. What y'all think about that?
I mean, I got almost
it's pretty similar. Pretty similar. He's got Kaufman. He's got Kaufman at 5. Now he's disrespecting Chapel Hill down at 10. I don't.
I mean, they got a lot to prove, so it's okay. It's okay because I mean it's just right now. I mean, and
well, that's
right
pretty
now,
close. That's pretty close to where you had Chapel Hill. You had Chapel Hill at 9, Vince. So
yeah, I mean they 2-2, and they 2 wins are to 2 teams like we said that are not that good.
You said Gilmer's not that good.
But I will say I said they're 2 wins.
Oh,
of the
okay.
teams that are not that good. So, but I will say this though, I was looking at some other people, and I feel like we talked about Lindale on Friday, and I feel like Lindale's wins are not. I don't know. I think it's more the respect for Lindale because I don't see it in their wins either. You know, I don't feel like their wins are like super convincing either. But we're about to find out. It's district series.
Eddie's questioning you tied center with Pleasant Grove. Well, yep, because we had two of us voted Pleasant Grove as 3 and one at 5, so that brought him back down to tie with center.
So look at the Lindale schedule. I'm glad Vince said that. They barely beat Van, 30-27. And then they lost to Kaufman by 7 and lost to Gilmer by 8. And then they blasted Henderson, barely beat Van, and blasted Pine Tree. Are you really gonna say that Henderson's a better football team? Not Henderson, but Lindale. I mean, that's tough. Now I see what Vince is saying.
Yeah, when you look at the who they played right now, none of them look to be. None of the wins are convincing and saying, okay, they are who I think they are. It's just more of the respect that I know when Lindale comes out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Derek's telling y'all to put the drink down.
Derek, man, listen, I don't know what you're drinking, Derek, but I'm not going to disrespect Lindale. We still got to play him. I don't want to hype Lindale up at all.
I want all the smoke. Y'all, I already told you what's going on. I want all the smoke.
Center will not beat Carthage.
Star that. So I'm using.
I love the confidence, Eddie. I love the confidence.
928, 980.
Not neglect what center is out here doing right now. Exactly. Don't do that.
I'm not going to disrespect
because you're going to look foolish if they do.
So center's putting up some good numbers. You don't beat a team 4-0, and then go to. Where's that game being played at anyway? Let me go back.
It said Sulphur Springs was picked to go 1-9 by computer. They are 4-1. That's why I don't trust computers. That's why I don't care about none of that AP poll stuff. It don't matter.
This is what he was talking about a while ago when we mentioned Chapel Hill. He said, no disrespect, they are not in any poll. Well, they're in our poll.
Yeah, but like you just said, though, like the computer picked them to be 1-9 and they're 4-1. So I mean, like, it don't matter. The polls don't matter. It's just an opinion, you know. I trust the eye test. And the verdict is still out on Chapel Hill too. I just put them in there. That's all. That's all.
They're not going to be in a poll unless they're 0-4. Just saying.
I mean, you got Chapel Hill alum making this poll. They're probably going to be in there.
I'll be realistic about it. It may be number 11. They could be number 10 for all I care, but they'll be in the poll. We know how good the team is, and so they just lay an egg. Hey.
Yeah. Bradshaw says, stop the running from Lindale QB is all you have to do.
I wish it was that easy.
Yeah. Sounds easy enough, right? Eddie says it will come down to Lindale, Kilgore, and Chapel Hill for district. Lindale is looking good.
I told y'all what I thought. I told y'all exactly what I thought, and I'm sticking with that. Chapel Hill beats Lindale. They get over that hump.
That's that hump, yeah.
They get over that. It's a wrap.
I agree. He's got.
And I'm not talking about a field goal. I mean a convincing win. This is that they needed that.
Yeah. Eddie's got center at 4. Computer is accurate, he says.
We'll start at the game. The game is going to be on 10/21 in Carthage. Center versus Carthage. 10/21. Book it. Upset.
10/21.
Book it. Upset.
In Carthage?
No, it's all right. Upset.
What are you talking about?
Center versus Carthage. In Carthage.
That's a heavyweight bout.
Center.
I'm not gonna say Center gonna win, but you're gonna learn to put some respect on Center name when that game is done.
I'm saying Center's gonna win. I'm saying Center's gonna win.
I'm not going.
I'm not
to sit here and
backtracking there. I'm
disrespect
not
Center no more.
backtracking.
All right, let's go check out this 3A 2A poll because this is some good stuff down here, and there's a lots of differences of opinion. So I'm feeling this is going to be some good convo. All right, a lot of teams got votes this week in this poll. I think the longer we've had this show, the more eyes we've been open to all these different teams. Speaking of that, if you haven't noticed, we've got their district standings on our website now. So it's at the top, netsn.live/district standings, or you can just go to the website, netsn.live, and click on the top link with district standings. It's got a place where you can click through all the and overall records of the teams in the area. We're going to try to keep that up to date for all y'all out there that are looking for information. And the more you look around, you're like, this poll is just so deep. There's so many teams that you could put in this poll. And we'll just start from the top. Number one, they've been number one for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Terry Bussey and crew, the Timpson Bears. Bussing them, as Corey says. 5-0 at the top. We got Carlisle at number 2. Malakoff and Mount Vernon tied at 3. Edgewood new into the poll at number 5. Winsboro up to number 6. Beckville back into the poll at number 7. Atlanta number 8, tied with Dangerfield in the 8th spot. And at number 10, rounding up our top 10, is Garrison.
Wait a minute. Malakoff is not number. Who else didn't vote for Malakoff?
Malakoff is number 3. Corey.
Who's ahead of Malakoff?
Carlisle and Timpson, Corey.
Well, I know Timpson's number 1. Hey, no disrespect. No disrespect to Carlisle.
Don't do that.
No disrespect.
Who told you about Carlisle?
Malakoff.
Okay.
Malakoff.
So Malakoff's 3. You have a problem with him being 3?
Absolutely.
Corey?
It should be number 2.
Let's go take a look and see what he says. He's got them at 3 as well. He's got Mount Vernon at 2.
Well, all due respect, Mount Vernon hadn't lost. So all due respect to Mount Vernon, they hadn't lost.
They have not lost, but they're not the same team as they were when they started the season also.
No.
So take that in consideration. I have Winsboro number 2. I don't
honestly think you can get this wrong.
Yeah,
when you look at this, you got 5 teams that are undefeated. It don't matter.
There's a lot of teams, and that's why you've got West Rusk that is ranked. You've got Centerville that's ranked. They're not even in the poll because there's so many teams right now that are playing well.
Yeah.
The only team that we know that's number 1 is Timpson. Even if Timpson lost 1 game, that'd still be number 1.
Timpson is by far out number 1. They're
listen. I started to pay attention to Beckville. Beckville lost that first week, and they ain't lost since.
No,
man, this is a very tough poll. I'm gonna be honest with you. If somebody told me that my poll was wrong, I'd probably walk off on them. I'm just gonna be real, because that don't make no sense to even say that.
Okay, so I've got the list of who we voted for. Okay. And Eddie's saying that Timpson will not lose. That's probably a good statement. I mean,
they probably won't.
They're
probably right
incredible
about that,
this year. So this is how tough this poll was. Okay, we all had different number 2s, all 3 of us. Okay, I had Winsboro. Corey has Malakoff. Vince has Beckville. So all 3 at number 2. Okay, we all had Carlisle at 3. Me and Vince had Vernon at 4. Corey had Edgewood at 4. Then you got I had Malakoff at 5. Corey had Mount Vernon at 5. Vince has Edgewood at 5. It's there. We have them all these teams in there. Yeah, at this point in the season, we're about to hit district here, and they're gonna start playing each other. That Mount Vernon Winsboro game next week could be the game of the week in the pick'em. I mean, I'm telling
you this: if Mount Vernon beats Winsboro at any point, they deserve to be number 2.
Yeah.
At any point, they deserve. They barely beat Mineola. Mineola's decent. You know, Mineola's still Mineola. They're still successful. They barely beat Mineola. You know, with their backup quarterback and their bell cow. So now you going up to Winsboro. You got to play Winsboro. If they beat Winsboro, I'll give them number 2. And guess it. I guess I'm wrong.
Uh-oh. We're all wrong. We're all
I'll be-
wrong because none of
wrong.
us had Mount Vernon at number 2,
And
Eddie.
this is all because of the quarterback. This is all because of the quarterback. That's it. I'm dead wrong. I'm dead wrong.
I'm done. I'm gone. Peace, Eddie. You can have it.
Eddie, here's the deal, Eddie.
And it's if y'all picking Chapel Hill, I'm
You
riding
can
down
have
Vernon.
it. Eddie going down that hill.
McGill hasn't been stopped yet. You know he's coming every snap and he can't do anything. So, I mean, I get it. So we get to next week's game, Mount Vernon, Winsboro, and y'all beat Winsboro, then we'll move you back up. I want to see you beat somebody. Beat somebody with your backup quarterback. You'd be asking the same thing if we had Brisbane down. So don't.
If Mount Vernon beats Winsboro, I'll say the Dallas Cowboys will win in the NFC East.
Wow. Will you wear a Dallas Cowboy hat?
I don't know where you did.
I'm not wearing
like the Eagles ain't walking around here deboing everybody.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I would say the Dallas I don't believe the Dallas Cowboys will win the NFC East. And I'll say the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East. Aha.
Oh man. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like this, that's what I was saying. This poll was tough. When I did, I was like, man, you got 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. Yeah. I mean, you just look at and the reason why I picked Winsboro, I was looking at the scores that they've won by. They're putting up some points, and like it's a lot. They're winning by a lot. Like it's crazy.
Like every time I look at one of them, I can make an argument for each one of those teams. Like even today, like I looked at Edgewood and I was like, man, I should put Edgewood higher. But then I looked at, again, I went back and I looked at I think it was Beckfield again. And I was thinking like, man, I'm not going to hold Beckfield. I should, right? But I don't want to hold him for losing to Timpson when I don't think Timpson's going to lose a game this year. And they beating everybody else convincingly. So I'm like, man, I don't know. Like this is a toss up.
Are they better than Malakoff?
I don't know.
Malakoff is
I don't know. I know Malakoff is. I don't know. That's just the truth. I don't know. All of these teams are good. All of them.
Just saying.
And when they start playing,
it should have made the pick'em. What pick'em are you talking about, Eddie? What's game? Because we hadn't talked about the pick'em yet, but it's going to be next week's game. It's not this week. So we're talking about Mount Vernon, Winsboro, and that one will be on the pick'em. This week's was tough. Flowing into the pick'em for this week. Got a lot of teams on buys. Not a lot of games to choose from, and so this week's pick'em, it was tough to try to figure out some good games.
So put it to I do want to put it to you like this: the only loss Malakoff has this year is against Grandview. Grandview in the state poll is number 4. Guess who's behind Grandview? Directly behind Grandview.
Who was that?
Malakoff.
Oh,
he thought they were playing easy.
Like I said, I'm not finna sit there and argue with nobody about this poll. Not nobody. If you want to sit there and tongue wrestle all day, that's fine. You can do that with yourself. Cry to your mama. I don't care. Like listen, that is too hard of a dude. I can't. I got five teams that are undefeated, and I got 2 other teams that got really convincing losses. Like
it ain't no pressure to it. Ain't no pressure to it. You just put it.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Don't ask me who's winning this poll no more.
I've had Melikov up in my poll since the beginning, he said.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
faithful. That's faithful.
I know they can hoop. Get
I
that
ain't
new
faithful
gym.
to nobody but Timpson and Carthage. And
Busting
Longview. Busting them. That's it. There's my
All right.
favorite right there.
All right, here we go. Let's go pick. Week 6, Pick'em Challenge. If you hadn't gotten your Pick'em done, get them in before the games start on Friday. Game 1, Edgewood, Grand Saline. I'm going
Edgewood.
with my boys from Edgewood.
Purple Bulldogs. I know it's disrespectful, but it's purple. They're purple Bulldogs.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Game 2, Wascom Elysian Fields. I'm going with Wascom.
Wascom.
I think I picked Wascom in there. Yeah, I did.
I know I picked Wascom.
Yeah.
All right. Game 3, we've got Marshall Hallsville. I got Marshall.
I am riding out this Hallsville.
Oh, man.
I got to see it
Yeah,
through. I just don't believe that Hallsville has fallen off like that. I truly believe they got talent on that team.
You're going to ride them to the dive.
I'm gonna ride it out.
But I will say this. I will say that both teams have identical records.
Mm-hmm.
This is that make or break game for either one. Either team can go up, either can go down.
I agree. And I'm gonna say this too. So to me, it's gonna go up and down for my opinion. So I don't believe that Marshall may be as good as what I think they are. But after this game, I'm going to change my opinion after this game. Either Hallsville is not what I thought they were, and Marshall is, or vice versa. So
I don't think Marshall's dominant. I don't think Marshall's dominant, but I think they're good. I think Marshall and Hallsville.
Oh yeah, I know.
Marshall by 3 touchdowns. Derek Del Rio. Marshall by 2 touchdowns from Eddie.
I think Marshall and Hallsville are the exact same team, 2 different areas, 2 different cities.
Yes,
trying to find a way. That's what
we're gonna find out.
So we're gonna find out about ourselves. So either one of us is gonna be 4-2 and 2-0 in district, or we're gonna be 1-1 in district and whatever.
Let's go. Keep it rolling. What we got?
All right. Lindale and Vince's Athens Hornets.
Lindale.
I got Lindale. Vince, you gonna roll with the Hornets again?
Nah, I picked Lindale. You know I picked Lindale. Don't do me like that.
Inside source.
Hey, first of all, they did play pretty good. They played an all right game against Jacksonville. That second half that ate them up. I don't know what was said to them in the second half, but they went in with a little momentum, and when they came out,
maybe it was a train. Maybe the train in the third quarter. Maybe it's a train. That is the weirdest.
That train did come by. That train did come by.
I tell you, that's what it was. I tell you, it's always a train. If you guys don't know anything about it, if you ever been to the Tomato Bowl, it is right directly behind the train track. And so randomly a train will come through. I've never been to a game in Jacksonville where a train did not come through. And the train will come through, and it is loud, and it's loud, almost like a 6th man or 12th man.
Right now. I'll get it when I'm done.
Yeah, I'm ready to go back to the Tomato Bowl here in a couple of weeks for a big game between a couple of blue and gold teams. Speaking of one of those blue and gold teams, game 5, pick them. Chapel Hill, Palestine. All about CH.
It's a big game for them. This is a statement game for that team. They need to come out and they need to set the tone. They need to win by 3 or 4 or 5, 6 touchdowns. I mean, they need to be dominant. Just completely dominant. They need no mistakes. They need to be focused, button down,
4 touchdowns? By 4
5,
touchdowns.
6. They need to put up 70.
Now, hold on. I'm confused, though, because you think that Palestine is actually pretty good. So why do you think that Chapel Hill has to beat them by 4 or 5 touchdowns?
It's a mental thing. They haven't played well against Palestine.
To me, it don't have to be about 4. You just win.
I don't know. No. I don't want to just win.
Statement. So we make a statement. We need to make a statement.
Here's the thing. Now, I can say that because I don't believe in Palestine like you do. You see what I'm saying?
Don't be disrespectful.
I believe that Palestine is not as good as what some
And they may
people
not
are
be.
saying.
And
So
they may
to
not
me, Chapel Hill should come out and beat them by 3, maybe 4 touchdowns. I don't know. But if you think that they're good enough, then to me, the game should be closer, right?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying I'm never.
But you
First of all,
want Chapel Hill to win. I get you
first
want
of all, I'm
Chapel
not
Hill to
gonna
beat them by that.
yeah, I'm not going to disrespect
I'm
my
not.
opponent.
I'm
So
I'm
I
just
want
asking.
Palestine to do diligence because they played a decent schedule and they've won some games. Anytime you win some games, it's fine.
Yeah.
However, you're playing against a team that just got beat by Kilgore, but they didn't even score a touchdown. And they have this thing over Chapel Hill where they've played very well against Chapel Hill 2 years in a row. So they've got this over their head. And mentally, Chapel Hill has not been very well against Palestine. This is the first district win. This is after a bye week. You've had 2 weeks literally just to prepare for this one opponent because you're going week by week. They need to come in X's and O's, button down, take care of business, no excuses, no mistakes, execute every single possession, and dominate. There's no excuses.
35-0 at halftime. Looking at
It needs to be 70-0.
Yeah.
Mm.
Derek, is that supposed to be funny? Because Chapel Hill uses a trick play to win the game. I don't know. Then we got a laughing face.
Yeah, he's trying to be disrespectful. Okay, I say we got this.
They don't want to see us on top. They don't want to see us on top.
Man,
Okay, all right.
They don't want to see us.
That's all
on
right.
top.
I've got something for Derek here after the end
We're
of
gonna
this.
be on top anyway.
Yeah,
All right,
okay.
so here we go. We got game 6, Troop Quitman. I'm going with the T Tigers in
Troop
that
Tigers.
one. Vince?
I think I picked Troop. Yeah.
Okay. And then we got game 7. We've got and Eddie's got them by 4 TDs. And we've got Kilgore, Jacksonville. I'm going with the Red Dogs. Continue to roll. I think Jacksonville probably plays them a little closer than Palestine did, but I still think Kilgore takes the win. Game 8, Joaquin and Garrison.
Joaquin's pretty good, but I'm picking Garrison.
Vince, who you got? I believe I took Joaquin in that one. Yes, I did. I took Joaquin.
Did I pick Joaquin? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was gonna pick Garrison. I changed it. Yeah.
I got Eddie's got Joaquin by 2 touchdowns.
Joaquin. Mm-hmm.
And then game 9 is Art Winona. I took the Tigers in that one. Corey's riding. Are you gonna ride with him again, Corey?
I'm riding with him.
He's riding with Winona.
Riding high.
So it's the big rivalry. Art Winona. It's a big rivalry here in East Texas. Eddie's got Art. Eddie's got Art by 2 touchdowns. And in the game of the week, Center Rusk, guys. This was an easy game of the week. Been waiting for one of those teams to play each other in that district, and I'm taking Center. I think Center's gonna
pull it out.
Yeah.
So who y'all got?
Center's about to put on a clinic.
I think Center. I don't know about that now. I'm not gonna disrespect Russ.
Corey, who did you pick though, Corey?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Pick up champ.
Pick up champ. You selected Rusk.
I'm not gonna disrespect him like that though. But it's all right. But hey, we good. I'll go back to my list.
Let's see. We got a lot of people going here now. We got Center by a touchdown, says Eddie.
I did pick Rusk. I picked, my heart was telling me I did pick Rusk.
So we got Art by 14, says Derek.
There we go.
I made the OU hype video. Shaking coach. Whoa. You lost me an OU hype video, Eddie. You got TJ Riley jumping in. Welcome, TJ. Center by 5 touchdowns, Corey.
Woo. 5 hands.
Woo. Bradshaw.
Yeah, 5 bands. Let's do it.
Center.
5 of them things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm picking Rusk. I'm just Just saying, it's
Derek's rolling with center.
center.
I had center by a touchdown, says Eddie. Corey, I think you're on an island with that one.
I'll be on the island chilling. Me and Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, so Derek, I have gonna have the updates of the Pick'em Challenge updated to the website here and just shortly, Derek. But unfortunately for you, the Pick'em Champ has taken over first place in the Pick'em Challenge this season.
I swear,
Derek. So I'm sorry about your luck, Derek. It was just a matter of time before I came to take my throne, so I moved back up to the top. So
somebody please beat me because I'm tired of this belt. I'm tired of this belt, man. This belt is he's gonna hoist this belt all the time.
The thing is, though, the belt is just for us three fellas. And did y'all want to know how far ahead of y'all I am? Because I've now padded my lead over Vince by 4. Corey, I could probably miss a week and still be ahead of you. I think I'm 7 up on you.
That's okay. It's all right. That's
all right. Eddie, I'll have the overall score. It's actually published to the website now. So if you go check out the website, I've got the updated score. You are moving up, Eddie. You have passed both Vince and Corey, and you missed week 1. So good job, Eddie.
It's okay. Using the computer, I see. That's how he's doing it. Using the computer.
I had 2 rough weeks.
Yeah. I'm not listening to Vince and his good authority anymore. I'm going
That ain't the reason you at the bottom.
I'm telling you, you're listening to the wrong co-host. You should be listening to the Pick'em Champ.
But I gotta pick. Logically, some of these I don't.
I'm probably gonna go 10 for 10 on this one. I'm gonna tell you.
10 for 10 on this one.
I'm probably gonna go 10 for 10.
All right. Are you okay?
Unless something crazy happened,
DJ
the football
says,
guys,
butt whooping coming for Rusk. Center's pretty good.
No, I'm not. Ricky Joe, it's a Chapel Hill connection, that game. So hopefully.
Eddie's calling it 10-0 this week.
Ooh,
Center game will be the closest.
And
then he asked about the overall score, and it is on the website. Just go to the Pick'em Challenge, and the leaderboard link is there on the left side. So, speaking of that, Friday night, Corey, tell them where you'll be Friday night.
I'm chilling, man. We're gonna be doing this thing all Friday night. 10 o'clock, Wide Right Scoreboard Show. Gonna get live. Y'all know what to do. Come in. Hopefully y'all they're energized. Have some coffee, whatever. Driving home safe. Listen to it. We're gonna talk some of the Pick'em games and see how it goes. So I'm anxious to see the Rusk and the Center game. I'll be keeping track of that game very closely to see how that game goes. Hopefully it's not a complete blowout. But like I said, everybody's left. I'm right. So hopefully the wide right, I'll be picking the right team this Friday. That's just
I like that. Hey, I want to give y'all a Twitter challenge update here. Those of you that don't know, Corey and Vince are got a challenge going on to see who can get the most Twitter followers. And Vince has a 10-person lead over Corey, 186 to 176.
Okay.
We're going to the week 10, so you still got 5 more weeks to get those Twitter followers in. Guys, I'm gonna give y'all a chance to advertise yourselves here.
I just want you to know how lame that contest is. We're trying to get Twitter followers. I finally reached that point in time in my life. I'm just a little bit older than what I thought I was. I'm trying to get Twitter followers. That's pathetic. But hey, it's whatever. I mean, if this was 20 years ago, I may have had 2,000 by now. But I'm struggling to get Twitter followers. But it's okay.
Wow.
How do you follow that, Vince?
I mean, you can only say something positive at this point. Mine was completely negative.
This is how I follow it.
Spartans, what is your profession?
You celebrating Twitter followers now. That's
how I follow it.
Twitter.
Oh,
the Prince Vince Army. The Prince Vince Army. They showed up.
Great.
Wow. Okay.
Nah, I mean it's cool, man. I'm starting to use Twitter a little bit more. I'm gonna be honest with you. You say it's lame, but to be honest with you, man, Facebook sometimes is too much for me. So, it's gotten me back towards social media. I'll say because I really don't say a whole lot on Facebook anymore at all, and I never really use my Instagram anymore.
Yeah.
I'm getting back to it now because I'm on Twitter all the time now, and I'm just tweeting stuff, little thoughts I have, stuff like that.
That's awesome. Well, I'll be Friday night. I will be in Chapel Hill. Be on the call with Logan Ward. We'll be on the call and texting live for the Chapel Hill Palestine game. So if you're looking for that game, you can go to our website, NETsn.live. At the top, there's a TextN Live link. You click that link, it'll take you right to the Chapel Hill Palestine broadcast. It's a monthly subscription, $10 or $11 a month. That's all the games that you want to watch. There's a lot of games on there. You can go back and watch the old games on demand. It's a great deal. So check that out if you're interested in that game. Just to wrap up, I'd like to thank LoneStarGridiron.com and Terry Bennett for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
thanks for having him. Thanks for having Terry on. Again, we'll have Grant Goodwin, his counterpart, on in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Is he a Cowboy fan too? Yeah, I didn't get a chance. I was still half asleep when Terry made that little comment about, my Texans. But I'm gonna catch you next time, Terry, because I got. Listen, like I said earlier, Cowboys got some L's coming their way. They not the big dogs. They not the big dogs no more in the division.
The division's wide open. The Texans, the division's. I don't know. I tell you what, if Jacksonville beats the Eagles, if Jacksonville beats Philly, and I feel like in my gut that Jacksonville is going to beat Philly for some apparent reason. I don't know why. Doug Peterson is going back to Philly.
Well, here's what I'll say. If they do beat Philly and we manage to get that win against Jacksonville, it makes us look a whole lot better.
I don't think the Houston Texans is going to beat Jacksonville.
Come on, man.
Man, did you watch it? Jacksonville really good.
Honestly, I'll just be honest with you. This is just we just trying to get some games in, trying to get some people some reps. Like we ain't really trying to win nothing this year. We know what we got. So it is what it is.
If they can win 7 games, that's a positive.
That's a positive. I don't know if it'll be 7. It might be like 5.
I can tell you, the year two under Lovie Smith, they'll have a top 10 defense.
Lovie gonna get it right.
They already blew one. They had one game in the pocket, and they gave that one away.
They don't have anything offensively. They have nothing offensively. I mean, absolutely nothing offensively.
Well, the problem was really the defense. We already scored up front. We gave them back the game.
You can't keep people from scoring forever. So
Well, guys, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, NETsn Live at YouTube and Facebook, NETsn_live at Twitter. Check out our store, netsn.live/store. Get you a hat. We've also got some other things coming that way. Our district standings are live on the website. Go check them out. Thanks again for LoneStarGridiron.com and Terry and the rest of the crew, Chris and Grant. For Corey and Vince, this is Brett. We'll catch you next time right here on the Weekly Wrap-Up Show. Good night, everyone.
And ladies and gentlemen, we kick the night off with the man who has been a world champion for 678 days. The head of the table, the king of the bloodline, the tribal chief. And a deafening ovation.
Please welcome the undisputed NETsn Pick'em champ, Greg Swinney.
East Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.